Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we are going to talk about our garden plans for 2026. Yes, that is correct. I am already have planned the vast majority of our gardens for the 2026 spring-summer season. So we all love plants. We all like to chit chat about plants and share ideas with each other. So I thought this would be a fun time for us just to get together, and I will share with you my thoughts for next year's garden. Of course, now why am I doing this? We actually did this in like September. So why am I doing this in the fall? Well, because I like to have this year's garden, the 2025 garden, fresh on my brain. So that way I know what was a great success, what did okay, what do I want to change, what plants do I want to use more of, less of, those kinds of things. So while the memory is still good, I like to go ahead and make those plans. We have already ordered our plants for this next year's garden. I would encourage you to go ahead and pre-order your annuals for next year's garden as well. We have the pre-order open on the website. You can go ahead. Once you figure out the vast majority of what your annuals are going to be, you can go ahead over to gardeningwithcreekside.com, get those pre-orders in. Y'all, we're not going to send them to you right now. We are going to wait until the spring of 2026 when it is appropriate for your growing zone, and then we will send them to you. All right, so we're gonna hop around to all the different parts of the garden. So first things first, this lovely long driveway bed that we have only had one growing season in it. And so last year we did beautiful bright yellow tulips from Color Blends. Y'all, I'm not changing a thing. I am still going with those golden Parisma yellow tulips. They are bright, they are cheery. We planted them in mass along the whole length of this, not kind of narrow, I think it's about 3.5 feet wide and 70 to 80 feet long. And so we are going to just chock that bed again full of those yellow tulips. I am also going to I added a little bit more to my order this year. So I'm going to take those yellow tulips that are still in this bed, and I'm going to repeat them in the corner bed up by the driveway. That's where the daylilies were. It's now where we have that umbrella Japanese pine. So I'm going to have them at the top of the driveway when you come into the front yard, and also here. So that will be my spring planting for this bed. Then moving into summer. So I will begin planting my annuals in mid to late April, depending on the weather and depending on the plant. So behind me, we're going to do a mass planting of the Surefire Cherry Cordial Begonia. That is right, y'all. I love Surefires. They're so easy. I think there's 4 or 5 colors now that they have in that line. They can do full sun, most definitely full hot sun here, or they can go anywhere to complete shade, and anything in between. The Surefire Cherry Cordial has that black foliage with those really bright red flowers on it. It's so easy, it's low maintenance. Japanese beetles don't like it, aphids don't really like it. You don't have to worry about bud worms, and they get nice and big as the season progresses. So that is what we're going to do, all in mass. Last year we did a layer of 3 different annuals. Nope, it was too much. It was a little bit too busy for me, so we're going to keep it simple, and we are going to simply put the Surefire Cherry Cordial in mass along this bed. All right, let's move on to another part of the garden. All right, so here as we come through the pathway to the patio, again, I love mass plantings, especially back here. So what we're going to do in both this little bed with the lanterns and then around those raised beds in the patio, we are going to do Super Petunia Vista Cool Jazz. Yes, my friends, the brand new Vista Petunia. We trialed it this year. Had great results with it. It has that beautiful, just that kind of light lavender look to it. A gorgeous petunia. It is a Vista, so it has a nice vigor to it. So it will go both in this bed and then around the boxwoods, the camellias, the David Alston roses, Super Petunia Vista Cool Jazz. Then behind me, so in the pathway, you will see that we have this year the Pinkerific Dahlias, the Virtuoso Pinkerific Dahlias, and then behind it is the Unplugged So Blue Salvia. While This year it is beautiful, and the dahlias are coming back into their own as the cool temperatures come along and the leaves begin to fall. I'm going to make it more simple next year. So I'm only going to do the unplugged So Blue Salvia because, of course, I have my David Alston roses behind them, and I need those roses to have as much sunlight and as room to grow as possible. So I'm just going to keep it simple, maybe do like a staggered row, not necessarily a single row of the unplugged So Blue. I love the blue against the peach of the roses. And then you can't go wrong with a huge pollinator attractor. So keeping it simple, but we're going to be planting en masse with the Vista Cool Jazz and the unplugged So Blue. So let's bop over here to the backyard and talk about that. Here in the backyard, again, we're going to go with kind of that purple theme. We are going to use the new improved Supertunia Bordeaux. Y'all, to know Bordeaux is to love Bordeaux, in my opinion. And then with the improvements that Proven Winners has made on the coloring of Bordeaux for this coming year, absolutely gorgeous. So the Supertunia Bordeaux will both go here in the corner, and it will go in front of the double play doozies. Now, the double play doozie spireas, keep in mind, they bloom on new growth, so they're going to get a very nice big haircut. So before they get this big, we will have plenty of room for those Bordeaux to go underneath it. And then also Bordeaux will go in the 2 island beds here in the backyard where we have that available space. When I have room for my, to bring some vertical interest and movement to the garden, I'm going to be using the graceful grasses, that purple fountain grass. So the purple fountain grass I love because it is a deep, deep, near black foliage, does beautiful plumes on it, of course. It is an annual forest, but it'll get into that 3.5 foot range, and it brings movement to the garden. So it will be a beautiful complement between the purple fountain grass and the Supertunia Bordeaux. It is going to be lovely. And then having that cool jazz up by the house, cooler colors, lighter colors, because that patio is quite warm and toasty. And then moving down into the garden, still in those colors that will complement each other quite nicely. A little bit of a richer purple with that Supertunia Bordeaux. I think it should be absolutely magnificent. In the spring, we are going to do some beautiful tulips. I got a little ahead of myself on the summer annuals. So before we can even think about the summer annuals, we have to think about the spring tulips. So as you probably will remember, our middle daughter, Megan, absolutely adores pink tulips. So she doesn't request much things from me in the garden, but she does request pink tulips in the backyard. So we have 1,000 pink Adore tulips that will be planted here in the backyard. So what we will do is plant them again en masse. I took notes last year that I could up the number of tulips back here in the back, so that is what I did. So that's why I like planning when that current garden is on my mind. I think last year we did maybe 700, 800 tulips back here, and I said, okay, you can increase it by a bit because those tulips will go everywhere that the annuals are going to go. And so this is a gorgeous, electric, like vibrant pink. So it is really going to pop. So we will have those in front of the doozies. Remember, the doozies will have been trimmed by then. In the corner pockets, will be up in the deck boxes, over here in the 2 island beds, tucked in around the shrubs and the perennials. Will be a beautiful display of vibrant pink early in the spring when we desperately are looking for loads of color. So we're gonna go from pink to purple here in the backyard in 2026. All right, so in the front yard, we're going to keep it simple because, of course, we have the brand new gorgeous landscape that we just completed with tons of shrubs that are going to give me loads of color. So I'm going to keep it very simple on the front. Now, between each of the Perfecto Mundo pink carpet azaleas, we're going to do one lemon coral sedum between each one. I may not go straight center between each one, bring it down a little bit towards the grass, but I think that color, that nice bright pop of chartreuse against the dark green of the azaleas will be lovely. Of course, lemon coral loves our North Carolina Zone 8A climate, so it should be fantastic. So that's going to go from the top of the driveway all the way around the side below the Hortsman. Then just up at the walkway, we're going to keep it kind of simple, very similar to where I put the anemones. We'll talk about those in a second. I am going to do the Artist Blue Ageratum. Now, the Artist Blue Ageratum a couple of years ago absolutely shocked us in the best way possible. Jerry and I both thought that this would be a cool weather annual for us, and then when the heat kicked in, it would just kind of peter out. It did not. It performed amazingly well throughout the entire growing season for us. And it stays nice and tight and compact. Bugs don't like it. I don't have to deadhead it. Gives me a nice blue color, blue, purple color in the garden. So we're going to be doing the Artist Blue Ageratum on the back side closest to the walkway between each azalea. Now, just the other day, I came through and planted some anemones. Anemones are a perennial bulb for me here in North Carolina, and I did the First Crush blend. This will be a white, pink, purple, blue, and that will be absolutely beautiful. So I planted those directly behind each of the azaleas at the walkway, knowing that I was going to be coming back and planting some annuals. So I know exactly where my bulbs are because they are perennials, so I want to leave them alone, and then I can plant those Artist Blues between where those anemones are. So it is going to be a beautiful, nice, colorful, cheery spot beginning in the spring and of course going all the way through to the fall. Also, in the hanging baskets on the front porch, of course, these are nice, massive hanging baskets. I think they're like 24 inches in diameter. We're going to go back to the angel wing begonias. This year, I tried a different begonia. It was one of the new introductions from Proven Winners. Wasn't my favorite. My angel wings perform absolutely 100 times better than this begonia because I get some nice big height to them. They bloom their heads off. So next year I will go back to my angel wing begonias. More than likely I will stick with the pink instead of the red because of the pink carpets and kind of that color palette that we are going for here in the front yard. And we are going to be painting our front door, so no worries on that. The red will be going away here in a couple of weeks or months, and so we're going to go with the angel wing pink begonias in the hanging baskets. So here we are at the signature garden because there's a lot of annuals that go into the signature garden. So we're going to start kind of at the entrance. So of course at the entrance, when you first enter into the signature garden, we have those two lovely raised beds that are just welcome you in. So what we're going to do first, we're actually going to do two plantings this year. So we're going to do an early spring, early summer planting, and then when the heat hits, we're going to switch it out into some heat-loving annuals. So first up, what we are going to do is the Supertunia Hoopla Vivid Orchid, because here at the nursery, really in the South, you cannot beat petunias in the spring, early summer. That is when they thrive. The humidity has not laid its hot blanket on the earth yet, and that is the prime conditions for the petunias. Great thing is too, they're very cool tolerant. So we can plant those in early to mid-April and they will absolutely be living their best life. So that will be on the front side, right below the Sprinter boxwoods. Then come when the heat hits, which typically will be end of June, beginning of July. Sometimes around that July 4th, they can't even make it to July 4th, or they're just struggling to hit July 4th. We're going to pull out the petunias and we are going to put in portulaca because heaven knows portulaca loves the heat and it will go well into the fall. So we're going to be doing Mojave Fuchsia. Mojave Fuchsia, of course, is that really electric, hot pink. It is nice and low, so it will be a beautiful carpet. And again, even in middle of October, the Mojave portulaca is absolutely thriving. So this will take us well into the growing season. So that is what's going to happen on the front side. The garden side of the bed, we are going to be using, I'm going to keep it again a little bit simple because my Little Lime Punch hydrangeas are going to really have taken off in that third year. So we're going to do the Superbena Cobalt Verbena, nice, beautiful, kind of blue purple, right? And then also the Super Petunia Mini Vista Plum Veined. I love Mini Vista Plum Veined Petunia. It's nice and petite. It is well controlled because it is a Mini Vista, but that really beautiful plum color that will go really nicely with the Superbena Cobalt. So that will be along the garden side. Then once the heat hits, what we will be doing is we're going to keep the cobalt because that Superbena Cobalt should do just fine. And then we're going to take out those Mini Vista Plum Veins and we're going to do the new Superlophus Sunglow. So the Sunglow is that bright, nice, cherry yellow, thrives in the heat and humidity. It is living its best life in the garden bed in front of the pergola. So we'll have the blue and the yellow together, which will be quite lovely. Then around the fountain in the first planting, we're going to do Mini Vista White. We have not done a white planting around the fountain, and if you know me, you know how much I adore Super Petunia Mini Vista White Petunia. It is beautiful, pure white, smaller bloom than say Vista Snowdrift, and of course less vigorous, which is what I need around that fountain so it does not take over the entire area. Then for the second planting, we're going to probably most likely do, we have a little question mark, but I think this is what we're going to do, is the Superbena Whiteout. So we'll stick with that white, but we're going to switch from the Petunia to the Verbena. Superbena Whiteout is, again, nice, massive flowers on it that are pure white. So that is what we're going to do. Then in the 4 annual beds, because you know on the interior of the garden we have those 4 beds that are always going to be annuals. So we're going to kind of keep them where we go work from high to low. So the high will be in the center because you see these beds from all 360 degrees. And so we will start with a high in the middle and then work our way down on each side. So we will do a mass planting of the Senorita Rosalita Cleome. I love this plant, y'all. It is fantastic. Beautiful pink. It will be my tallest. So we will do a mass planting down the center. When I say mass planting with Senorita Rosalita, we'll have to measure it out, but it could only be 5 or 6 plants because this turns into a beautiful beast at the end of the season. Then what we're going to do, going towards the bench, the interior of the garden, is the Color Blaze Torchlight Coleus. Torchlight is going to bring in some moody colors, right? It's going to bring in some really deep purple near black with splashes of hot pink down the center. So we have got that. Then we will go with some Cerveza in Lime. Cerveza in Lime is a beautiful, highly fragrant. I personally love it. It literally smells like lime, but is a foliage plant only. Nice, bright, kind of a green color that when you touch it, it smells just like fresh limes. And then right there in front of the Cerveza in Lime, behind the benches, will be the Blew My Mind of Volvulus. Blew My Mind thrives in our climate, brings me a beautiful low carpet of pure blue flowers. So that's what's going to happen on that side. Then going back on the other side, we're going to come through in the early spring. We're going to use Campfire Flame. This is going to bring a nice bold pop of color, kind of that orangey red to the area. Then once the heat of the summer hits, we're going to pull those out and go back with some more Portulaca of Mojave Tangerine. Tangerine, love this one. Beautiful, nice orange. It is a fantastic one. Again, will carry us all the way through. Now we have some miscellaneous areas that's going to happen. So we're going to run through those real quick. On the very back of the garden, of course, we have the Glitters and Glows viburnums. And so as they are growing, we are putting annuals between them. So this coming year, we're not going to have quite as much room. So we're going to go with some orange, y'all. We're going with those nice big bold colors this year in the garden. We're going to use Vermillionaire. So Vermillionaire Kufia, of course, the pollinators love it. The hummingbirds go nuts. Nice open airy habit to it. So between each of the Glitters and Glows, we'll have to see kind of how much they grow and fill in, but probably we'll do about 2 Vermillionaire between each of the viburnums to give us that nice kind of upright, light, airy orange color that the pollinators and hummingbirds are going to love. So even though we are redesigning the creek bank bed with brand new shrubs and all sorts of fun perennials, I am sure that we will have room for some annuals in 2026. So we are going to use the Truffula Pink Gumfrena and the Artist Blue Ageratum here as well. So pink, blue, purple, absolutely beautiful, low maintenance, easy peasy on the creek bank bed. And then as we make our way to the back of the garden, we have got those areas around the redbud, the vitex, the Aphrodite, right? All those little areas. We're going to use the Sun Patience Purple Candy. This year, I think we did it was Blush Orchid, and it was a massive success. People were like, what is that plant? It is not on irrigation. Sun Patience can do sun to shade, anywhere in between, which is perfect for that area. Very low maintenance and easy peasy, but a massive eye catcher. So we will be doing the Sun Patience Purple Candy, which is a very vibrant electric color. And then the Mini Me Chartreuse Coleus was a huge hit as well. So we will be dappling in that as well to give us some beautiful color contrast. And then the Hillside Garden, we are going to be doing the Play in the Blues Salvia. And #1 seller for us. The people love this plant, and rightly so. And then we will be pairing that with Sun Patience Compact White. So having some blues and some whites together really contrast nicely off of them as well. So there are lots of plans that we are getting ready for in 2026. Of course, there is still plenty of areas in our gardens where I like not to overplant it, because I just get the whimsy of, oh, this is gorgeous, let's do this. So not every single square inch of the gardens is planned. I don't like to do that, but I do like to get my main areas planned, focused. That way I can get my plants in order. I kind of have a direction of what way we're going to go. My color schemes will kind of, blend it together and have a cohesiveness to the garden. So that is definitely a plus of planning your gardens in advance. But again, gardening, at least for me, is a very spontaneous, and I can be like, I joke about it every fall. I am not going to plant any fall annuals, no violas, no pansies, no nothing. And as soon as I see that first delivery of them, I'm like, give them all to me. They are gorgeous and I want them. Same thing happens in the spring and the summer. So leave some room for some creativity and some spontaneity. But go ahead and get those big orders, those big plantings in your garden. Go ahead and get your pre-order in. That way you're guaranteed to have those plants and you don't have to worry about it. Again, not going to send them to you right now. We will wait until it is appropriate for you to plant them next year. So as always, we hope you have found this fun, informative, and inspirational. If you have, we would love it if you would like and subscribe to Gardening with Creekside. That way you don't miss those 5 videos that we do each and every week. Y'all have an absolutely amazing day. Get outside, get some vitamin D, some fresh air. It's lovely. We will see you in the next video. Bye, friends.